Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Journeyman series here on Football Coach College Dynasty. This is episode 38 and our first set of games at Alabama after finishing 8 insanely successful seasons at Fresno State that include 2 national championship trophies. We are off to Alabama as their coach retired and they decided to fill the shoes with little old me. So here we are. For those of you that missed last episode, we covered the transfer portal and a bit of the preseason. Um, we were hurt a little bit by the fact that the AI just spends an insane amount of NIL money in recruiting, which means less for me in transfers to the point where we missed out on 2 of our transfer targets because we could not pay them any money. But here's where things stand. In the preseason poll, we are ranked number 1 in the country with the 5th best offensive talent with an 88 and the best defensive talent in the game with a 92, which is 3 points more than Florida, who is in second. I'm of the opinion we look pretty good. The athletic director's expectations for this year are to finish ranked in the top 3 or win the SEC championship game. Both of those things are likely to happen. Finish ranked in the top 3 might get a bit shaky because we're playing the teams that currently are ranked like 2 and 4 and 5. So that can just sort itself out that way. Looking at our team in terms of talent, the obvious weakness that we have is in the running game, where our rushing skill is only an 81, which for reference is worse than it was at a lot of years at Fresno State. The reason is simple. This is my running back room. The running back transfer was one of the guys we missed out on due to the NIL money. And so I am essentially rolling with last year's depth options. Our number 1 running back, Jackson Conrad, had 11 carries last season. Our second running back, Caesar Dixon, had 4 carries last year. This is very much not really the group you want to bring in if you're Alabama, but it is the one I am stuck with. I've made the decision we are redshirting JUCO running back Gage Jacinto, such that he would be my 3rd running back, and at that point, I would rather get an extra year out of his JUCO eligibility. He'll likely complain and ask for more playing time, at which point I might give it to him. But in all honesty, if Conrad, Dixon, and Middleton just ball out and are fine, then I'm just going to let Gage Jacinto walk, and we're going to get, $400,000 back in NIL. So that's my thinking there. Other positions of note, quarterback, obviously. We are sticking with JUCO quarterback Sawyer Cox, who had a tremendous season last year for Bama. And in attributes, his accuracy is now all the way up to 104. So if he throws any interceptions, I will be upset. Alabama used him a little bit in the run game. I don't think I will that much. His ball carrier vision is good, but his speed's only a 67 and his ball security is a 70. So I would very much be worried about fumbles there. Other than that, on offense, we are moving to a pass-first game plan. One part because, again, this is my running back room, but the other reason is this is my wide receiver core, where I have 4 wide receivers in the 90 overalls, a couple more in the mid-high 80s, and like my depth options have 82 overall, which is a pretty good world to live in. I am currently redshirting 86 overall true freshman Marvin Wall. My argument for this is very simple. If I were to put him in the depth chart right now as is, he would be 5th, like David Sheffield numbers. There's even an argument to put Adrian McNeil ahead of him if you're going for speed over everything else. So I figured at that point, let's redshirt Marvin Wall. He's going to want more playing time. He's definitely going to get it because 3 of my top 4 wide receivers are gone next year anyway for graduation. Might as well just do that. That does unfortunately run the risk that he just declares for the draft after 2 seasons, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. My final position to note on offense is our offensive line. We have, I would say, a top-heavy offensive line. Obviously, Alicia Guy and Jamari Menchaca both have 96, 97 overall. They'll be fine. Got a couple guys in the high 80s, and then there's a big drop-off to Mitchell Marshall, who has 68 pass block, Damon Davis, who is really strong but not the best blocker, and then converted tight end Johnny Ruin, who is a good pass blocker, but he can't run block to save his life. Because of this drop off, I am moving down to only 7 rotating offensive linemen as opposed to 8, which is what I normally do. I have a handful of players redshirting, but the fundamental issue that I am running into with Alabama is that the AI did not prioritize potential because at a certain point you don't need to if you're getting, mid 80 true freshmen every time, but it has come back to bite us. Defensive line is probably my favorite room on defense, solely because Charlie Porter up top is one of the best defensive linemen I've ever seen. 110 block shed, 108 tackling, 109 strength. He is a madman. I am so happy I didn't have to convince him to stay and that he didn't go to the draft. He has been phenomenal. We also have some very good number 2, number 3s with great block shedding, great strength, good tackling. This is a very strong running room, literally. The depth, again, is a bit shaky, but I'm way more confident in my top guys. Linebacker, I would say, is much more well-balanced, but they're all heavy hitters. Everyone's tackling, with exception of Mitchell Grace, is in the 90s to 108 in Chandler Gordon, the 5th linebacker's case. The depth at linebacker is atrocious. If any of these top 6 guys get injured, we are in big trouble because if Guadalupe Hale ever plays consistently, I'm a little bit worried. Cornerback. We have a thin cornerback room. At the moment, I am playing 5 out of 6. So I only have one backup corner that's going to see reps, and that's Tony Moulton. So these corners are going to play a lot. They are, I would say, mostly man specialists, but because they're so dang good, they're also strong at zone. Also, if there is an injury or if I notice some guys getting burned 60% of the time, I am ripping the red shirt off of probably Ezekiel Terrell and letting him play for his zone coverage ability, though he is the slowest corner I've ever seen. We also have true freshman Trevor Lucas, who is currently our second corner on the depth chart, already with 105 man, 88 IQ, 102 speed. Come on. Safety, top safety, obviously Mark Core. He is the best player on our team. It's not particularly close. 101 overall, 122 zone coverage, 112 IQ, 107 tackling. It is a big shame I only get him for a year. But he is just a tremendous player. Jackson, Rasmussen, Paul Wilcox behind him, no slouches in their own right. Rasmussen is 111 zone coverage. So we're looking pretty good. I think the downfall of this team, and by downfall at Bama, it's like you lose in the playoff quarterfinal or something, would be if our running game just isn't there. And if we sustain an injury to like a top offensive lineman or a top linebacker, because those are the positions where our depth just does not exist. Looking at the donor goals for the season, we have 2 diamond. One is have 55 or more big plays at 20 yards and beat Auburn. Then we have 5 gold, which range from passing for 245 yards against Notre Dame, converting 5 fourth downs total, hold at least one opponent to 3 points or fewer. Based on the quality of our opponents, we have like 2 chances at that. Hold opponents less than 300 yards per game, which I think that should be fine, and then win the SEC. And then 2 silver, beat Auburn and rush for 240 against Oklahoma. I can already tell you, unless we go gangbusters, that one's not happening. That is where things stand. We have made 3 player promises this season, 2 to our running backs. Top running back Jackson Conrad wants to play in 30% of snaps. He'll obviously get that. Second running back Cesar Dixon wants 50 carries. He'll get that. And then to convince Mark Core to stay, I had to say that we would win the national championship, which we very well could. And then I will get to the draft risks in a week or two because that's when it filters out the seniors that for some reason are there. But this is our schedule this season. We open at number 2, Notre Dame. We are running it back from the BCS title game all those years ago. Then conference play begins. Home against Ole Miss. That's one of our easier games this season. Home against number 13, Oklahoma, and then on the road, and then 17, Kentucky. Second out-of-conference game, we're going to North Carolina, and then at Vandy, which is our other quote-unquote easy game this season. And then we get a week 7 bye, which is pretty early, I think. And then at Missouri, at number 12, Tennessee, which will be one of our harder games this season. Tennessee is arguably a better team than a lot of these guys ranked in the top 10. And then home, number 25, Texas A&M. And then our final out-of-conference game against our old friends, number 5, Fresno State. I don't usually like scheduling my former teams like the year one after the switch. However, I am genuinely concerned that the AI is going to ruin my program, or my former program, I should say. So I want to play them as soon as possible. And then home against Florida, and then obviously at Auburn in the Iron Bowl to finish. We have, I believe, and I don't know if I can see the number yet. I cannot. I believe we have the toughest strength of schedule in the country based on our opponents' rankings. Obviously, a lot of this can change. If Kentucky gets off to a bad start, they're not going to be ranked. If Texas A&M doesn't, go 6-1 in their openers, they're not going to be ranked. So there's a lot of opportunity for this to flip. But we're playing number 2 and number 5 in our out-of-conference. That gets us a long way. Speaking of which, we open against number 2 Notre Dame, and they're led by quarterback Abraham Bullock, who was all-freshman QB and freshman of the year last season. He is very, very good at the game of football. He has 99 IQ when your worst passing stat is 92 accuracy as a sophomore. You're pretty good. He is very, very good. Famously, let me flip back here. In his game against against Bama last season, he went 24-34, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns. It must be said, in the national championship game against my Fresno State Bulldogs, he only threw 8 passes. Problem is, he completed 7 of them for 130 yards and had 2 QB sneak touchdowns. So there was some variance there, but I think he is beatable. The problem lies in pretty much the rest of the team. When they have low, mid-90s everywhere on defense, they're number 3rd in the country in defensive talent. So I'm excited to get things kicked off. Notre Dame is favored by a point. However, home field advantage is 3. So in reality, if this were played at a neutral, we'd be favored. Notre Dame has 0 recruits visiting today. I will go through the recruits after this game. This is the 3rd time in the save that Bama and Notre Dame have played each other. And I did notice this. I think the out-of-conference contract that they originally had must have expired. So I hope the other team got paid out. But last time, obviously, they met in the semifinal, and then in 2030, they met in the national championship game where Notre Dame was victorious. So let's see how things go in our opening game. We will call tails, as is our wont, and it's heads. Good start. They elected it first, so we start with the ball. Now, as I mentioned before, we are going to be a pass-heavy team. Just by the way our team is constructed, we really need to be. But I'm still going to keep shoe clock on. I'm still going to try to get those easy third down placements as often as I can, but more or less, we're going to be slinging the rock a lot as Jaden Page gets us a 20-yard play. We're in the red zone. Third and goal at the 2. I'll run it. And Cesar Dixon gets us in the end zone to open. Well done to the lads. We're going to blitz not that much, mainly because I have the benefit of hindsight. And one of the things Notre Dame did really well against Fresno when we played them is they took advantage of our blitz. So we might sit back. Oh, they're going for it on 4th and 1. Okay, now I am going to blitz, obviously. Oh, they get it. How unfortunate. And we have our first turnover this season as Chandler Gordon, aforementioned linebacker, with the interception. Thank you very much, sir. We're on the move. We're moving. We're shaking. We get the third down conversion. We're in business. That, didn't necessarily go as planned. 3rd and 10, let's try corner post and just hope. It didn't work. We got sacked. Good punt, though. 3rd and 4, I'm going to bring the safety down. And it's incomplete. Notre Dame has to punt. But another 3 and out from us. Not the best showing from our offense so far as Charlie Porter with the tackle for loss. Speed option. Why not? Hey, it worked. 19 yards. I don't really want to lean on the option, mainly because that speed kind of scares me, but you never know. As Sawyer is sacked once again, and he's intercepted by safety Ryder Branch. All right. Things getting from bad to worse as Notre Dame is driving, but they're going backwards. And they punt, and our punt returner, Thomas Chaudhry, returns it 99 yards for a touchdown. Wow. That's been SportsCenter top 10 without question. Probably number 1. And our defense forces another 3 and out. Doing pretty good. I'm going to drop to normal on the tempo as Jaden Page gets us a 25-yard touchdown over the top. We're up 21-0 on Notre Dame to open. Looks like, though, they are going to score here. The question is, how many points? Yeah, see, they just kill our blitz. All right. So they get 7 points off. We have all of our timeouts. We might as well try to get in field goal range. All right, we're at the 41. All right, we're at the 24. And we get there. David Sheffield, the junior, on the corner route into the end zone. 28-7. What a first half that was. We're averaging 9 yards a pass. I've only ran it 8 times. I think that classifies more as pass heavy than pass first, but that is what it is. They convert the 3rd and 4. Bad call by me to blitz. Then they run it in. All right. Yeah, the other issue I'm running into is the run game just isn't having as much success as our passing game, which, to be fair, we knew that was going to be true. We convert the 3rd and 3. Well done. Aaron Middleton gets a carry. Oh, we got how many sacks is that? That's 4. Not a great day for our offensive line here. And we get the touchdown on 3rd and 13. Roberto Chase. Have a day, sir. All right, 3rd and 2. They get the conversion. And they convert. What's their 3rd down conversion rate? 7 of 13. I mean, we're 4 of 7, so not doing as good. Great stop there on 3rd down. Paul Wilcox with the tackle for a loss. I don't know why the AI went for a field goal there, but I'm not going to question it. Maybe I should. Hold on. How many yards do I need to pass against Notre Dame? 245. What am I at? 288. However, I have ran into issues where that number and the number on the final screen is different. So I kind of just want to keep letting it fly. Power option works. Okay, we could legitimately have something here then with the option game as David Sheffield with another touchdown from Sawyer Cox. Wow. I mean, don't get me wrong, I expected to win, but that's crazy. All right, the backups are in on offense. That means Jesse Funk got to throw an incomplete pass, which is nice. Our backup defense is getting shredded, but it looks like Notre Dame waves the white flag. We won 42-17. I ran it, what, 8 times in the first half, so 13 in the second half. It's not that big of a difference here, but credit to Sawyer Cox, 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, did have the pick. Conrad didn't do great, sub 4 yards a carry. Cesar Dixon did better, which was good. We got Cox some yardage on the ground. Very, very nice from the men. Page was targeted 10 times. Roberto Chase targeted 7. Sheffield 3. Caught all 3 of his passes. That'll do. No sacks from our defense is legitimately scary. But other than that, no real complaints. Obviously, punt return touchdown from our boy Tomas. Credit to him. Bullock, I think, didn't do great. I would consider this a bad game from him. In my humble opinion, 14-20, 160 yards, touchdown, and a pick. We stopped Orion pretty good. Yeah, I think overall, it's about a good opening performance as you can get. Let us see how far Notre Dame drops in the rankings. How about they go down to 6? That's my biggest. I bet Notre Dame drops 6. Clayton Hoffman of Louisville had 5 rushing touchdowns. Good for him. And Notre Dame drops to 3 because Ohio State also lost to Florida. So Florida is now 2. Fresno State, they won their game and they drop. Okay. I'm sorry. Stanford beat Kent State and they move up 2. Whatever. I'm staying out of it. Staying out of it. But with that win, we got our first gold donor goal. So 225, or excuse me, 225. That would be insane. $2.25 million in our coffers. Let me talk recruiting really quick. It is a light recruiting class. I'm only going for about 14 targets right now, mainly because I have 31 players in the freshman class, only 14 seniors, most of whom will just be replaced by the guys behind him, especially at wide receiver and defensive line. To that end, I'm really looking at 3 positions heavily in recruiting: offensive line, corner, and then defensive line, really. I'm also looking at a quarterback, so let me talk about him. There were a lot of quarterbacks interested in me. I have gone with Anthony Burks. He is a JUCO QB, 82 overall, C- potential. And I'm grabbing him for 2 reasons. One, he is Sawyer Cox. Him and Sawyer Cox have the exact same ratings almost, style of play, strengths, etc. I like Burks. I think when my biggest concern is that your IQ is only an 83, that's fine. His potential being not great means that unlikely he gets any of those passing numbers to the mid 90s, but listen, low 90s for everything, I can dance with that. His interest in me is 100. His interest in Notre Dame is a 98. I was really worried they were going to try to schedule him week one against us to get that top five matchup boost, but they did not. And we have the second visit with him. So I assume we're going to get him. We're 880 points ahead already. And that's before any money. So really happy with that. Other top guys, we're going for a plethora of five-star defensive players to just retool our ranks. Five-star corner Daniel Payne, who is the best recruit in the class. Great man coverage guy, phenomenal speed, no notes. Lawrence Mosley, really good block shedding and strength guy. He would play as a true freshman. JUCO Leo Ball. Honestly, I like worse than Mosley, which is ironic, but Ball has 97 strength. That'll play. Offensive lineman Gunnar Keller will definitely redshirt. I don't know how he's the number one offensive lineman, but trust me, it's not that far off. And then five-star safety Trent Butler immediately replaces Mark Core at the top of the list. And then offensive lineman Dylan Reynolds, in my opinion, the number one O lineman in the class, already has 83 strength, 90 pass block. Really, really good get for us. And then two other players of note, running back Harrison Shaw, who is a jack of all trades, and a master of none, really. 80 speed is a bit concerning, but he's got 82 ball security already. I can redshirt him if needed. But he's a guy that could potentially see reps at running back, especially if, this running back room implodes. And then the other interesting player of note is wide receiver Francisco Askew, who has 93 speed. Need I say more? But he also has 81 catching, can't run a route to save his life, but speed in this game wins more often than not. So, at the moment of these 14 recruits, I'm ahead on 12 of them, with Daniel Payne and Francisco Askew being the only two we are behind on. Daniel Payne is very interested in NIL. Francisco is extremely interested. I think of those two, I would rather pay money to Daniel Payne just on balance. I think he's a better player. And our cornerback room needs an 88 overall, true freshman rather than our wide receiver room needs Francisco, but dealer's choice at that point. Looks like I can only schedule visits with one recruit, which is a little annoying. But let's see here. Lawrence Mosley. Fresno State is interested, so I'm just going to slam him down in that game just to get him there. So, let me see. Have the draft risks updated? No, it still shows seniors. Okay. So, Ole Miss. They are one of the worst teams in the SEC in this save. This is their record year over year. Their most wins in a season was 8. They have never gotten close to the playoffs. Just very, very, very bad. Definitely in real life, if this happened, probably 3 or 4 coaches would be hired and fired during this process. One player they do have that is kind of interesting. Let me find him. See, he's a wide receiver. Yeah. Wide receiver Derek Lewis, who I knew because I tried to recruit him at Fresno State, and he rudely said no to me, went on to play at Ole Miss and hasn't done much, which is kind of depressing because this guy would have been like one of our top wide receivers in terms of talent. But Derek Lewis is really good. He's got 98 speed, 93 catch. Our corners are going to have a day with him, but I'm mainly bringing that up because I was mad and I wanted him. So I think our focus is going to be on our downfield passing more often than not. Realistically, we're not going to run the ball enough to where that is a need to be established in the practices. We're favored by 31 points. If we hold a team to 3 points or less to get that donor goal, Ole Miss is going to be the ones we need to do it. So far in the save, Alabama 6-0 over Ole Miss. Need I say more? So this game hopefully will be over pretty quickly. I might run the ball a little bit more than usual just to burn some clock, but we'll see. Doing an all-out blitz when they were doing shotgun empty, it was a choice, but you know what? It happened. All right, Curtis Jameson with the sack. And Ole Miss has punted, which is fine by me. All right, we convert to 3rd and 7 and get another 21-yard play in. Thank you, lads. But we stumble at midfield. Come on, lads. There we go. Tackle for a loss by Maxwell Winters. Doing an RPO bubble screen on 3rd and 2. A choice. We don't convert to 3rd and 3 either. Maybe I should have ran it there, but that is what it is. Ole Miss punts as well. No one wants to score in this game, really. It's actually a competition. Who can get first to 7? All right, we're at midfield in the red zone, and Jackson Conrad with the receiving touchdown out of the backfield. That'll help his numbers as we draw first blood, and Jesus Frazier forces the fumble. Leon Wilkerson recovers, and we're off to the races. I completely forgot to talk about my kicker, Santiago Baker, who never kicked before today. He has 99 accuracy. All right, he made the 42 yard. All right, good stop here. Come on, defense. They convert the 3rd and 10, not great. And the 3rd and 7, and the 3rd and 2. But they still punt all the same. All right. Oh, well, there goes our shutout as tight end Tony Allison fumbles and they return it to the 3. Rude. Going 5 wide at the 1-yard line makes me think it's a designed QB run. It wasn't. It was a pass. It doesn't work, and they kick a field goal. Okay. If we hold them scoreless the rest of the game, we get the donor goal. I don't think that'll be happening, but you never know. As we punt. 3rd and 16. All right, cool. I'm just going to run the clock out here to end the half. All right. Overall, pretty okay start. But again, we're only up by 7, which is less than ideal. And then good old Mikey Mike over here, 30-yard touchdown pass off the curls. And Sean Ballard with the strip sack recovered by Diego Kidd. All right. Hey, Tony Allison redemption, 29-yard pass. Okay. The floodgates have opened. What was once a 7-point game is now a 21-point game in the span of like 6 minutes of ball. And they convert the 3rd and 15. Come on, guys. All right, good sack, Curtis Jameson. Ole Miss punts. We're doing pretty good. Let's run the ball a little bit here as the 4th quarter sounds. I'm going to pass it on 3rd and 3. We don't get it. I am going to go for it on 4th and goal at the 3. My argument being, if I don't get it, Ole Miss has to drive an insane amount of yards. We don't get it. Pass to Tony Allison falls incomplete. So there goes that. And they get a 30-yard pass off immediately. Oh, boy. No, and they burn our blitz. All right, there goes the shutout. Unless. Nah, there goes the shutout. Or rather, the sub 3 points or less. What a shame. All right. There we go. Redemption hour for the offense. That means the backups are not in quite yet, actually, as I look at the clock. Defense gets the stop. And now the backups are in. They're using their timeouts, which a little silly, but you know what? Part of me respects it. Not a big part, but part of me. That said, I'm just going to keep passing it. If it works, you know? Ooh, we're at the 3. Run it in, run it in, run it in. Timeout. Let's go for it. Get your touchdown, Jesse. No, they stopped us at the 1. Will they stop us for pride? No. Aaron Middleton runs it in. All right. We beat Ole Miss 37-11. Obviously, pretty disappointing we couldn't keep them to 3 under. That was one of our better chances to do it. And yeah, I think on that drive, I think we just called one too many blitzes. And they beat us on a couple big plays, and that was that. But overall, hey, a win in the SEC, not always the cleanest thing in the world. Sir Cox, 20 of 31, 288 yards, 4 touchdowns. That'll do. Much better day from our running backs. A lot of receivers got involved, which is good. Sheffield only had 1 catch, though. Defensively, 7 sacks. They must have heard me complaining. So, yeah, good win. He's kind of annoyed that we couldn't keep him under 3 there. Man. But it is what it is. And we advance. The good news is, where at Fresno State, even if we scheduled a hard out of conference and we won all of our conference games, we would still drop in the rankings because the Mountain West sucked so much. Whereas SEC, we obviously will not have that problem. So that is what it is. Seniors are still popping up on the draft risk screen. Ooh, okay, a lot. Oh, yeah. Okay, a lot of players can schedule. Let's get this taken care of here. Oh, Auburn. They had their visit with Francisco and got 1,200 points. Well, hello there. That makes things interesting for Francisco. Let me just assign all of these pitches. I get really good coordinator boosts too, which is nice. All right, let's start scheduling these guys. So, Harrison Shaw, I think Fresno State. Gunnar Keller, Fresno State. Brendan Sutton, annoyingly, couldn't schedule until now, or else I would have scheduled him in the Ole Miss game. What's his position? Corner. I'll add you to the A&M group, I think. Dylan Reynolds, O-line. I'll add you to the Florida group. Leo Ball, D-line, Fresno State. Michael Bonner, linebacker, Texas A&M. Trent Butler, A&M. Even though Fresno State's on the list at that point, I'm just trying to get him committed as soon as possible. Same thing with Hudson Dalton and Eric Payne. Yeah, so that is that done and dusted. I think I might just offer money now to Daniel Payne. What was the recruiting visits? Week 9 and 12. I'll see how things look closer to week 9 with his visit to OSU. But we shall see. All right, week 3, Oklahoma. They beat Penn State and then lost to Kentucky. Such is a rough life. Their QB doesn't look that great. However, their wide receiver room looks pretty nice. Alejandro McGill, Tyler Boone, looking good. One thing I do want to check really quick, this has nothing to do with anything. I want to see how Brian Graves is doing at San Jose State. So annoying. Why'd you let him walk, AI? So yeah, we're going to work on our downfield passing and stopping their downfield passing. I think this is another SEC game that I'm expecting to win pretty handedly. We're favored by 20 points. No recruits visiting. Bama has yet to lose to Oklahoma in the save. Man, one of these days, Tails will win. And it'll be great. Ooh, 32-yard kickoff return to open. I'll take that. Thank you, sir. 2nd and 5. Let it fly. Send it. Didn't work. They sacked us immediately. We pumped. All right. Defense gets the stop. Thank you, lads. Run game looking pretty good. Before I could even finish the sentence, Cesar goes backwards. All right, we get good field position now, and a 29-yard pass helps that out nicely. Jaden Page with the touchdown off the slants. We're on the board. Defense gets a 3 and out. We're moving. We're shaking. Good conversion there. Why would I run it here on 3rd and 7? You silly AI. Aaron Middleton, 14-yard run. Hello. Tony Allison, 3-yard touchdown. Thank you. 3rd and 17. I'm not doing cover 4 quarters. It's cursed. It's cursed, I tell you. Hey, Jaden Page, 49-yard pass. Man, his stat line has to be insane so far this season. Like, actually crazy. All right, well, that run game didn't work at all. The slants do, though. Roberto Chase with the touchdown. Ah, I figured they would run it on 3rd and 5, but they passed it. All right, Oklahoma gets their touchdown. The shutout is doomed, and we're just going to run the clock out there. Hopefully get another stop, which we do. Thank you, defense. Holding one opponent to less than 3 is crazy. Thank you, Jaden Page. Sack again. I guess that is only 2. But still, uh-oh, they're burning us over the top now. Just specifically what I thought we worked for. All right, Oklahoma, I mean, they're staying in it. They cut it to 11, and our running game just died. But good old Mikey Mike gets us 32 yards. Thank you, sir. And Thomas Chaudhry gets me more. We're moving. We're at the 1. We're in the end zone. Thank you, Aaron Middleton. Good sack from Sean Bullard. All right. Man. Yeah, our offensive line, it's a lot like more sacks than I thought they would. That was a big field goal there. 47-yarder. Not bad. Sacked again. I hope there isn't an injury to an O-lineman. That would be very depressing. All right, they punt, and that should do it as long as we can, like, actually develop a run game or a 49-yard pass to Thomas. Thank you. Wow. They just destroyed our run game there. 1st and goal at the 7, we get 3 yards. 2nd goal at the 4, we get 2. 3rd and goal at the 2, we get 1. Pretty good. I mean, I'm going for it. All right, we get it. Cool. Oh, they ran it to the side. I did a corner blitz too, and they got 56 yards. It's honestly pretty impressive. But they fail the onside kick. We convert to 3rd down because we're awesome like that, and that'll do it. All right. Good news is we won. Bad news is it got kind of shaky there for our defense, but that's okay. We only averaged 3 yards a rush, which really is what stopped us from putting that game away. Sawyer Cox was excellent. Conrad was bad. You know, Middleton's looked pretty good so far. We could have something there, but really good game from our wide receivers. 200 plus yard days, 4 sacks apiece. Really good kickoff returns, too. And we moved to 3-0. All right, week 4 is usually when you get the transfer risks start popping up. There shouldn't be too many of the backups solely because of how few backups we have. But I imagine there's going to be a decent amount of red shirts. It still says seniors. I don't know why. Yeah, see, all my red shirts. Yep. Well, no, Carson Tam isn't. Though, buddy, listen, between me and you, you're a good wide receiver, but like, this is what you're buried under, you know? So that gets a little finicky, I think. Anyone else want to schedule a visit? No. Oh, Auburn just offered a scholarship to Francisco. Well, that's a wrinkle. What's the recruiting visits? I'm after Notre Dame. Okay. Yeah, the other issue I think I'm going to run into is a lot of my recruiting visits are like week 11 and week 12, by which if these guys commit early, then I'm losing out on a decent amount of points there. But that is what it is. It looks like, again, and I brought this up last season at Fresno State. In my opinion, there's no reason why these top players shouldn't have committed already. I am more than 3,000 points ahead on all of them. I am the only team interested. In my opinion, after that happens for like 2 weeks, they should all commit to me. Because now I'm just essentially like wasting points that I could spend elsewhere. But that is what it is. Cool. I'm just checking the snap count really quick, and it looks good. Number 19, Kentucky is our foe today. They have pretty good wide receiver, it looks like. Who is your quarterback? Ibrahim Petty, transfer from Oklahoma. He's made a decent chunk of change despite doing very little at all. 74 accuracy. Okay. He's got a little bit of run game to him. So I think we're going to try to stop the run in case they have any designed run plays for their quarterback cooked up. Other than that, though, it seems pretty safe. But we're only favored by 9? Let me look at you again into Kentucky. Let me look at you again. 17th in offensive talent, 6th in defense. We got this. Kentucky has 10 recruits visited. Well, hello. So far in the sim, Kentucky's only beaten Bama once, and that was a few years ago. Kentucky does have a raucous crowd, so that's not nothing. Tails has yet to win. That makes me sad. It is raining, moderate wind, which isn't great. What's also not great is how effective Kentucky's been so far on offense. Wow. There we go. 3rd and goal to 6. I'm dropping back into zone. Good call. Incomplete. All right. We hold them to a field goal. That was pretty nice opening drive there from Kentucky. So we'll have to match. 3rd and 4. No dice. Hindsight being 2020, maybe I run it there to try to get a few yards to make 4th down easier, but Eh. And we get a safety. Charlie Porter with the sack. They do a deep pass play, their own 5 yard line. Fair enough. And so far in this game of SEC baseball, the score is 3-2. All right, our run game there did not win us any favors. 52-yarder in the rain with moderate wind. I think I'm just going to go for it at that point. And we get it. Roberto Chase, 15 yards. That works. 3rd and 4. I learned my lesson. We're running it. I'm going for it again. And we get it. Jackson Conrad gets us to the 3. And Cesar gets us in the end zone. I should have gone for 2 there to make it a 7-point game. Never mind. It's not going to matter. Leon Wilkerson with the interception. Thank you, sir. And Mikey Mike with the 25-yard touchdown off the slants. It's a 12-point game now. I will go for 2 to try to make it 14. And we get it. Thank you, Thomas. All right. And another interception, this time Jackson Rasmussen. Thank you, sir. Cesar runs it in. Okay. What was at one point looking like it might be a quick game is quickly blown up as Leon Wilkerson picks him off again. It's almost like having a QB with 74 accuracy in the rain and the wind is not a recipe for success. I don't know who could have possibly come to that conclusion as Aaron Middleton runs it in. Kentucky punts once again. All right, let's burn some clock and just run the ball quite a bit here. Aaron Middleton doing pretty well as Jackson Conrad runs it in. We're up 38-3. And another interception on the verticals. That's what you get for going short when doing verticals. All right, we're just going to run the ball down the half. Ooh, never mind. We got 9 yards. Okay. There we go. In the red zone at the 9. I don't really want to run it for fear of burning a timeout. And we get in the end zone. David Sheffield off the corner. We are on pace to score 90 points. I don't think we'll get to 90. It will shock you to know. But just for the record, we're on pace to get 90. That's pretty good. Hashtag analysis. All right, we got the conversion there. 3rd and 5, let's try the option. See if we can surprise him with it. Hi, it worked. Sawyer got me 7 yards. I'm a genius. Yeah, at this point, I'm going into old school mode where we're just going to run the ball into oblivion. All right, we'll take the field goal there. 48. 3rd and 19. Incomplete. If they would have converted the 3rd and 19, shut it all down. Javier Young, 35-yard pass. Thank you, sir. And we stumble there at the goal line. Okay. Ooh. Good kickoff return, but Reed Archer sacks him out now. No. Oh, they convert the 3rd and 7. Guys, we gotta keep him out. Dang. And we get the interception. Fabian Boone, the depth linebacker, coming in. We've held him to 3. If they don't score the rest of the game, 3rd and 5. I'm bringing the safety down. And another pick. Hector McCollum, the depth safety. Ibrahim Petty is currently 9 of 23 with 6 interceptions. I don't think I need to be the one to tell you that hurts. Okay. Now we're just going to run the ball a ton. Dang. Yeah, our lack of run game does come back to kill us. We don't get it on fourth and one. That was stupid because now they're in field goal range. Another pick. No, Hector McCollum picks him off again. Oh boy, we'll take a knee as we beat Kentucky 51-3. First of all, we only scored 6 points in the second half, which is, look at that, 243 6-0. That is one of the wildest quarter breakdown summary pages I have seen in a long time. I mean, Sawyer did well, 23-33, 245, 2 touchdowns, but my God, Ibrahim. Oh boy. He also only averaged 4 yards a pass. Like, that's impressively bad. You know, Jackson Conrad did really, really well. 7 yards carry, 112 yards. Dixon got 2 touchdowns. Middleton didn't do great, but he got the touchdown. Man alive. So interceptions from Boone, Wilkerson with 2, Manley, Rasmussen, and McCollum with 2. That's crazy. That's actually crazy. All right. We held an opponent to 3 points or less. Crazy. I would have bet money that the only chances we would have had to do that would either be Ole Miss or North Carolina, but we did it against. Huh? Oh no! Hey, remember what I said about a linebacker getting injured, wrecking our plans? It's happened. North Carolina's ranked. Okay. All right, let's do the linebacker bit first. So Maxwell Winters goes down for 7 weeks. That is a big shame. So everyone else moves up. Guadalupe Hale is going to get consistent reps. Send your thoughts, prayers, and vibes, please. All right, and then Sawyer Cox has a concussion per week. I am going to drop him all the way down to the bottom, and Jesse Funk is going to get a game. Realistic, this is my own personal rule. If a player has like a minor head injury, I treat it like a concussion and I just don't play them. So Sawyer Cox is going to rest. Jesse Funk is going to get the start against North Carolina, which will be good because there's a non-zero chance that Jesse is our starting QB next season. It's unlikely, but it's non-zero. So we'll see what that looks like. All right, transfer risks. Anyone beside David Sheffield wants more playing time? I can't with you. Look at all these players, man. How does David Sheffield want more playing time? Look at that. My entire shout out to Francis Mack for understanding the vision of the red shirt. I mean, I can't move him up. Like, these guys are all so much better than him. David, I would really like it if you stay, but you know, we're just gonna set that aside. Anyone else want to schedule a visit? No. Man, Auburn really wants this kid. I mean, credit to them. Yeah, OSU is going to outpace us on Harrison. Oh, they scheduled Harrison week 12. That's so annoying. Notre Dame offered a scholarship to Leo Ball. Okay. I think. See, here's my problem, especially with all this. Like, let's operate under the assumption I'm losing Page, Chowdhury, and Chase, and everyone else here wants more playing time. I can't play all of them. Obviously, Marvin Wall and Avery Leonard are going to get priority because they're a year younger. So that means probably two of Sheffield, McNeil, and Khalil are going to walk. At that point, I'd be leaning to keep McNeil probably. Carson Tam can walk. I'm fine with that. So that means I'm losing one, two, three, four, five, six. So that's two. Keep these three. That's five. So yeah, I mean, we need Francisco just to kind of fill everything out. Let me, because I'm just worried it won't get to week 11. If I offer, let's say, 750,000, that gets me 900 points on the day. Okay, I think that's fine. Harrison Cha, I think I won't offer money yet. To be blunt, it's not like we need him anyway. If he had better potential, I think he'd be a great get. And then Daniel Payne's the only other one that we're really in a fight with. And that one, I'm waiting to see when he wants to commit. North Carolina is ranked. I did not expect that when I scheduled them. So good on them. They beat UAB, Louisville, and Navy, and they just lost to Wake Forest. So they've yet to beat any ranked opponents. Oh, it looks like they were up to 15 at one point. Okay, so they must be there on what's their talent? Okay, they're not there on talent. I don't know why North Carolina is ranked. How did they finish last year? 8-5 with the bowl win. Yeah, I don't know why they're ranked. But I'm not going to complain. This helps our strength of schedule. Marco Wilkerson. Never mind, I thought that was a different man. Well, there. Oh my, this is a bad QB room. If I came into this, I would literally cut everyone from George Malman down to Cyrus Tanner. But that's beside the point. Philip Patrick is their starting QB. Yeah, he picked up an injury. So he's their starting QB. Got a decent cannon, kind of accurate, can't really run. I'm not really that afraid. However, they're number 2 in yards per game. That could just be down to their opponents that they've played. But we'll see. For those keeping track at home, as we sit in week 5, we have already satisfied a gold donor goal for yards against Notre Dame and a second goal donor goal for allowing 3 points or fewer. That one, by the way, got us 4.5 million. There's a lot of cheddar. We are going into this with our backup quarterback, so this could potentially be a fight here. North Carolina has 10 recruits visiting, including a 4-star O lineman. I'm going to be honest, doesn't look that good. So, this is the second time this team has played each other. Once again, tails will probably fail. Yep, it has been nothing but heads so far. One of these days I'll learn and switch to heads, but the time I do that will be the time it goes tails. And then I'll just shame myself. 3 and out. Okay. All right, so this game, I'm likely going to run it more just by who my starting QB is right now in the game. But Jesse Funk says, I'm sorry, what JUCO you looking at? 2 big passes and then an 11-yard scramble touchdown. Okay. Okay, Jesse. I see you. Interception from Mark Core. Picks off Philip Patrick. You can never trust someone with 2 first names. All right. The run game is starting to get somewhere, and Aaron Middleton gets another touchdown. Is Aaron Middleton my short yardage back? No. I think I want Caesar. Yeah, ball carrier vision in 76. Never mind. I'm keeping that on auto. I looked at some of the numbers, and none of them were particularly great. That was a bold call by me to do a safety blitz on 3rd down, but it worked. It's fine. Jesse Funk scrambles once again. Let's test out some option. Didn't work. Got a yard. And got sacked. All right. That drive died very quickly. Oh, we're moving. We have been stopped dead. And Santiago Baker misses the first kick of his career. Keep in mind this is his first year he's ever gotten playing time. And Keenan Manley with a 66-yard pick six. Call your exorcist immediately with those numbers. All right, they converted the third. Oh. We don't need the donor goal, but I feel like we're going to hold North Carolina potentially scoreless. Like, they just haven't gotten anything going, which don't get me wrong. I'm more than fine with. And a 36-yard pass to Roberto Chase over the middle. That'll do. Uh-oh. Did I jinx us? Doesn't look like it as Terry Dingle gets the sack. And they punt. How's our run game been? 4.0 yards a carry. Okay. About where we want it, I think. The read option ain't working. It looks like if the scramble's going to play, it's got to be natural and not a read option. All right, Emmanuel Cole, our third string QB, is now in as Aaron Middleton rattles off a 12-yard touchdown run. Middleton really doesn't want to be jumped in the depth chart. And I respect that. All right, completes. We punt. North Carolina is driving. They're going for it on 4th and 6. They don't get it. Deflected by Tony Milton. And we convert. Thank you. And that will do it. We shut out North Carolina 35-0. That was a boring game. They only averaged 1.9 rush yards and 3.4 pass yards per attempt. Philip Patrick, 9 of 24, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. My God. Jesse Funk, I think, did good. 14 of 20, 188 yards, got a touchdown in there. No real complaints. He also added 23 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Thought our run game was fine. A little more spread out today. Overall, pretty good. Santiago missing the kick is, meh. But hey, we just shut out a ranked team. Granted, we have no idea why they were ranked in the first place. But we shut them out. Not for nothing. All right, Sawyer Cox is back from his injury, so he can go back on up. Yeah, so far Jesse hadn't been that bad. I also didn't see what was Emmanuel Cole's stat line? 2 of 3, 18 yards. Okay. Nothing too out of whack. All right, I'm just gonna have to accept the fact that the seniors, for whatever reason, are gonna be on this list. So ignore the seniors. Jamar is school. Mike is school. If Mike goes to the draft, we are screwed at wide receiver. Elisha is leaning toward draft if early rounds. Same with Jesus. Leaning means you can convince them to stay. Leaving means they're just gone. Javier Young leaving would be a little annoying. Maxwell Winters, he might honestly just transfer because his injury, the snap percentage shouldn't hurt there. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have that many. Honestly, the only 3 draft concerns would be like Javier Young, because these 2 I can convince to stay. So yeah, just these 3. All right. Nothing too crazy. All right, let's check in on recruiting. I also realized no one wants to schedule a visit because I've scheduled them with every single player. It's kind of funny. All right, so we rifled into second place on Francisco, which is good. I think by nature of how good the recruits are that Alabama can get, My philosophy at Kent State and Fresno State of just redshirting almost every freshman I bring in can't really fly. But, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. One thing I do want to do, in anticipation of potentially missing out on Francisco or Harrison, let me just look at some potentials and some ratings to see if anybody would particularly be worth getting. Nope, your catching is a 67. Nah. I mean, catching of a 67, you need a really good potential to offset that. And he unfortunately does not have it. All right, week 6 check in. We are still ranked number 1 in the country. Maryland is up to number 2 as they are 5-0, including wins against number 3 Michigan and number 12 Mississippi State. Good on them. Fresno State also, by the by, 5-0 against their opponents. Who do they got at QB? Oh, yeah, they brought in a transfer guy. How boring. I set you up. Oh, my God, they're playing Caden Lawson. Why would you play red shirt? I don't understand why the AI wouldn't redshirt Caden Lawson, especially with his bad potential. You're going to need all the development you can get, and just let Aaron O'Connor be the backup. Like, he did well when he backed up. So silly. Running backs are looking good. Gibson stayed. That's good. Good God, Dallas. Nathan Locke has already missed 2 kicks. The defensive line room got destroyed by draft and transfers. Kind of hurts. I got them this guy and then I left, which is hilarious. All right, let's check on Vandy. 2-3. Their only wins are out of conference. They beat Northwestern and Miami and got housed by the SEC, which is rough. Quinton McGuire at QB, transfer from NC State, had a good year last year, but this year it's not looking great with the turnovers. 96 accuracy and 96 IQ though. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got. Where are we on the big plays? Have 55 or more. We're currently at 20. So yeah, we're on pace to get 55. That's good. We need 2 more 4th down conversions for that gold. Looks like we're doing pretty good on the yardage. We missed Oklahoma one. I wasn't paying attention. Rush for 240 yards. We only ran for 97. That is what it is. 240 yards rushing. Like, that's a toughie. All right, Vandy has 6 recruits visiting. That said, Alabama has beaten Vandy every single time. Let's rock and roll. We call tails because it never fails. Finally, it took until week 6. We will defer. And there is rain with no wind, so I'm not that worried about kicking. And our defense forces a 3 and out. Thank you, fellas. Jet sweep on the first play. It worked. We're going to win. It has been already decided we are going to win. First and goal at the 1. Cesar runs it in. We're up 7-0. Hey! Bad call to do engage 8 there. And they burn us on the blitz there. Okay. Good sack from Luis Silva. And they make their field goal. Credit to them there. I don't really want to do a flood switch, I'm going to be honest with you. And Tony Allison gets me the touchdown. Thank you. Cade, listen, you are an offensive lineman disguised as a tight end. That said, if I lose Javier, I might keep him at tight end. I'm flexible. Defense gets another 3-and-out. Look at us. Hoy! And Sawyer throws his second, I believe, pick of the season to linebacker Ricky Hairston. But no harm done. Hoy, we're at the 1. Doing 2 read option plays in a row probably wasn't the smartest move. I don't even think that's a hindsight 2021. I think it's just objectively in terms of play calling. Probably not smart. All right, well, good news is we're up 14-3 at half, and our defense is holding them to under 3 yards a rush and only 1 of 6 on third down. Bad news is we're not getting much on offense. The turnover didn't help, but yeah, they are hitting us pretty hard. I think we're going to switch to just let it fly time. Speaking of which, tight end attack, send it. And we get 32 yards to Javier Young. Conrad runs it in. There we go. There's the Alabama offense that we need. And an interception, Jesus Frazier. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's do tight end attack again. Just send it. Didn't work. That time did not work. 4th and goal. I'm going for it. And we get it. David Sheffield with the touchdown. Doing pretty good. They almost converted the 3rd and 11 there. That would have been shaky. All right, the backups are in on offense. Big pass play there to Roberto Chase. Thank you, lads. But we settle for a field goal. Fabian Boone gets the stop on 3rd down. They punt once again. Man, our defense is really good. Like, don't get me wrong. Based on talent, we have the number 1 defense in the country, but it's a one time to, like, see the numbers and, think of what that means. Then to actually get in the games and be like, oh, yeah, we're that good. I'll call a timeout. Let's just take 1 shot into the end zone. 3rd and goal to 1. I mean, come on. We don't get it. Field goal. All right, we win 34-3. Once again, we held the team to 3 or less. We beat Vandy pretty decisive. They only had 1 third down conversion the whole game. Very, very nice. Sawyer did throw a pick, but that is what it is. Conrad did great. Caesar only had 8 carries, which is a little shaky, but I guess we just didn't run the ball all that much, which is fine. Only 1 sack from our defense. It's a little disconcerting, but other than that, pretty decisive win. And again, that's one of the games I had circled that we would be able to hold them to 3 or less points, and we did. So that'll do. And I believe we have our bye week now. Hopefully no new injuries occurred. Everyone cross your fingers. Whoever didn't cross their fingers, I blame you. As Jamari Menchaca is out for 2 weeks, which in reality, that's only going to be 1 game. I'm just going to drop him all the way to the bottom so that he doesn't risk re-injury or anything. But it is the bye week, so let me do recruiting, and then we will check in. I have to offer money to Harrison Shaw at some point because I doubt with the recruiting visits I'll be able to make up the difference. But we'll see. All right. So we're essentially at the halfway point of the season. Let's do a quick little check-in here. Sawyer Cox, I think, is doing great. 1,400 yards, 73% completion percentage is awesome. 15 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's been sacked 12 times, so we're averaging about 2 sacks allowed per game, which isn't a great ratio. Our running game has been better than I expected. However, I'm not really asking them to do that much. Um, Conrad think's been great. Cesar has been also strong. He has 4 touchdowns. Middleton having 6 touchdowns. I don't know how he's turned into the goal line guy, but that I guess has happened. Wide receivers, I mean, we knew they'd all be good, and they have all been really good. Next year, we probably won't be as pass heavy because, by definition, we're going to lose a lot of our wide receiver talent. But, a lot of guys have multiple touchdowns. Sheffield, I mean, half his catches have been touchdowns, which is kind of funny. Tight end wise, I've never been one to figure out how to maximize tight ends. I'm just being honest. Like, Javier having 200 yards is great. Tony Allison has 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. So looking pretty good. Offensive line wise, Mitchell Marshall, I think I'm going to drop in the order. Because, I mean, he's given up 5 sacks just by himself. And, he's a great run blocker, but, like, it's not looking great. Santiago Baker, he's missed 1 field goal thus far. Extra points, perfect punts are good. We got decent production from my D line, I would say. I think linebacker is the group that I need a bit more because outside of Reed Archer, no one's really getting to the quarterback. We do have a handful of picks, which is nice. How's the true freshman Trevor Lucas doing? 35% completion against. My God. That'll play. So we're looking pretty good. Mark only having 11 tackles and 1 pick is a little bit sad, but I can never have safeties get like really high tackle numbers. Okay, offensive line. So how far do I drop Mitchell? I think Damon Davis goes ahead of him. So then it's a question of, do I swap him and Johnny? I think the answer is yes. Because I think at this point, with how great our defense is and how consistent we're able to score on offense, the thing that'll kill us is if our run game is non existent and we're getting negative plays in the passing game, i.e., sacks. So I think dropping Marshall a bit to minimize that will help. Player promises. Cesar is 9 carries away from 50, and Jackson Conrad is averaging well over 30%. So those are good. No issue there. Let us advance through the bye week and get to Missouri, who've not had a great year so far. They're 2-4. No new injuries in the bye week. That's good. And so right now we are 6-0, ranked number 1. Maryland, Stanford, Fresno State also undefeated. James Madison still undefeated. Tennessee's not doing great. They have 2 losses already. Mississippi State does. So yeah, A&M, they're no longer ranked, which I said could be a thing. Auburn also no longer ranked. So yeah, I mean, had North Carolina not been ranked when we played them, we would have, lost out on 3 ranked opponents down the stretch. We also only have the 14th hardest strength of schedule, which, to be fair, I get. The second half is going to be harder. All right, Missouri, 2-4. Talk to me. They beat Iowa. They beat A&M. They got pummeled by Tennessee, Clemson, and Mississippi State. Clemson, 3-3. They have also not had a great sin. I mean, they've only won the ACC once and made it past the first round of the playoff once. My God. Anywho, back to Mizzou. Their rushing skill is at 77. pretty bad. Their QB, Adam Sarmiento, 54% completion. Yeah, he can't throw it deep. IQ of 100 is nice, but he can't throw it deep, and it doesn't look like they're involving him in the run game at all. That is just a recipe for a terrible offense right there. Looking at the yeah, I don't think we're gonna get Francisco unless we offer a lot of money. But again, we'll see how the recruit. I don't want to offer money until the recruiting visit if I can avoid it, or any more money, I should say. Because I mean, even then, with 750,000, we're still 1,000 behind. Again, these guys should all commit. I am 4 to 5,000 points ahead on all of them. I'm like the only school interested. All right, so Mizzou looks like their offense is horrendous. So we're going to work on our passing game and stopping their passing game. And this could be one where, things get ugly very quickly. We're favored by 31 points, for crying out loud. Mizzou has 6 recruits visiting. I mean, they're an SEC school, and they're looking at 2-star recruits. Need I say more? To be fair, Zachary Blake, if he had better athleticism, doesn't look half bad. But so far in the sim, Bama destroyed Missouri every time. I anticipate this being an easy victory. It is heads once again. But they can happily start with the ball. I insist. Oh, they converted third down. Yeah, and they converted third down again. Not that time, though, and they missed the 46-yard kick. That's gotta hurt. We convert the third down. Thank you, lads. I forgot to turn shoe clock on. That's on me. Read option. Yeah, it worked. Ish. Oh boy, they stopped us at the 1. I mean, I'm going for it. We don't get it. Wow. I mean, credit to Mizzou there. It was first and goal at the 8. We get 6 yards and then 1 yard run, 0 and 0. Credit to them on that. And then Curtis Jamison tackles Avery Kruger in the end zone for a safety. That works. And a 34-yard deep route to Roberto Chase also works. And Sawyer Cox is picked in the end zone. Man, this game is a roller coaster of emotion. And they punt. All right. AI wants me to go for it 4th and 3 at the 35. I am inclined to agree. And we get it. 8-yard pass to David Sheffield. Cool. And we finally get in the end zone with Middleton. Yeesh. I mean, credit to Mizzou there. They kept us out of the end zone for almost the entire first half. Not many teams can say that. Yeah. They do get a field goal to close. I mean, so far we stopped their run game dead in its tracks. It's just, we had the turnover. We also failed to get in the end zone on 4th and 1. That's pretty much your difference there. Good punt return from Tomas. Thank you, sir. 3rd and 1. Let's just run up the middle. Wow. Pretty good run defense they got there. And they stop us on 4th down again. My argument there for not kicking a field goal is even if it goes in, it's a 9-point game at that point, and I would rather try to just get in the end zone as easily as possible. The bubble screen worked. Thank you. 52-yard pass. Thank you. Finally. Some life is worth the 5. Slants in zone. Thank you. Man alive. That took a while. All right, we don't get the 2-point conversion, so it's a 12-point game. And Mizzou punts. All right. I imagine the defensive coordinator wants to strangle the offensive coordinator on the Mizzou sideline right now. All right, now the floodgates are kind of opening. We score back-to-back touchdowns, but like this game certainly is not a blowout. We punt, and the backups are in on defense, and they got torched, and they get in the end zone, but we recover the onside kick. You know what? Let's tempt fate. All right. We convert. Thank you. Let's run an option for the heck of it. All right. Okay. We beat Mizzou 22-9. I think immense credit must be given to their defense. They also were 11 of 18 on third down, which is pretty good. Hashtag analysis. But I mean, Sawyer Cox, I think he did fine. He had the pick. That is what it is. But what really killed us was just they stopped our run game in key short yardage situations. And that really did us in. Page only catching 4 of his 8 targets certainly doesn't help. We only got 1 sack on the day. Not a great performance, but hey, a win is a win. And we advance to 7-0 on the season. And we have 2 new injuries. All right, Jamari is back from his head injury. So he is going to slide all the way up to number 2. That does mean Mitchell Marshall will drop to 7. So Jeffrey Sims will no longer get any action. Is that unfair to him? Honestly? Nah, I think there's not that big of a difference, or there is too much of a difference between the two. All right, what were the 2 injuries? Allison and Jameson. Well, Allison, I think is still just going to keep his spot. He's going to just be injured. And then Curtis Jameson, D-line being hurt. That isn't great. How long? 4 weeks? I think I drop him to 5. Yeah, so under Kid, but over Ballard. You two quit when? All my depth guys are starting to whine. Which happens. Jeez. Auburn is just offering money to this dude every step of the way. I'm once again asking why these 7 guys that I'm 4,500 points or ahead on have not just committed. Like, what will it take? What will it take, man? Oh, Maryland took their first loss, as did Stanford. Unfortunate. All right, we have number 14, Tennessee will be our last game of this video. They're 5-2, only losses to number 2, Florida, and number 21, Florida State. Credit to them for scheduling a tough out of conference with Illinois and FSU. All right, so far, looks like they're really good passing the ball. Run game, not as good, but still strong, and they're very good against the run, which is fine. They get a lot of deep plays also. Where are we in deep plays on the... on the scale. 11th. Yeah, but only third in. Only 340 plus yardage. Yeah, it happens. Man, the rush yards per game per attempt, I'm so used to that being like our best thing. And here we just can't do it. I mean, defensively we're dynamite. The only thing that gets us is we're not great at stopping them on third down. That's what's getting us. Really the only thing on odd defense. Cesar, by the way, got his 50 carries, so we're getting some integrity from that guaranteed. So, oh yeah, I didn't even look at Tennessee. Well, that's a couple of 90 guys. Samuel Patton at QB has had a very nice year for himself. 105 accuracy, 98 IQ. That'll do it. Benjamin Pearson at running back. He had 1,400 yards this last year. This year he's on pace to beat that. Did I play Tennessee last year at Fresno State? I did. We beat them 40-27. Got it. All right, so since they're so good against the run, we're definitely going to focus on the pass and stopping their run game so that we can turn it into a shootout, which I think we'll win. We're favored by 5 points as the game is in Knoxville, and they have 10 recruits visiting, including a couple 4-star guys. But I'm going to be honest, they don't look that great. Powerful kicker. So far in the sim, it's been pretty even split. Tennessee has taken 3 of the last 4 from Alabama. Are they the new rival? Let's play and find out. Thunderous home field advantage for Tennessee. Okay. All right. And I said earlier that Tennessee is a better team than most of the other guys ranked ahead of them. So they elect to defer. There is light rain, but no wind. Shouldn't be a problem. Play action boot wheel. Successful. All right. We convert on 3rd and 8. That was nice. A sack. It's less than nice. 40 for yarder. Let's take it. Santiago misses. But Tennessee goes 3 and out. We convert the 3rd and 4. Thank you, thank you. What do I want to do? Halfback stretch? Didn't work. And we're sacked backwards, and that'll do it. See, they're getting it. They getting us on 3rd down. They just converted 3 straight 3rd downs on this drive. Make that 4. They went 4 for 4 on 3rd down that drive and got in the end zone. 30-yard pass is a good response, though. Let's get in the end zone, please, fellas. 1st and goal at the 4. Roberto Chase gets us in. Extra point is 50-yard kickoff return. It's pretty good. Pretty good. So they failed to convert the 3rd down after self a field goal. We respond with a 46-yard kickoff return. Having a little competition. However, we had to punt. So our drive all in all less impressive. They convert on 3rd and 8. I thought I could get him with the blitz there. They punt. I'm going up tempo. The AI has not gotten the hint yet. We're going to try to get in field goal range. Never mind, we are not. We're just going to run it. Jeez Louise. And they got a touchdown on the Hail Mary against prevent defense. Wow. Okay. We have some work to do. Not only are we down by 10, but Tennessee also starts with the football. And already they are at midfield and in our red zone. Well, and they convert on third down. We're down by 17. Wow. I mean, that turned quick. We were matching them touchdown. They get a field goal. We go 3 and out. They go 3 and out. We go 3 and out. And then they get a touchdown on the Hail Mary. That is the first time I've ever seen a touchdown on a Hail Mary. Wow. Okay. Chew clock is coming off. And a sack on second down. Not what we wanted. We convert the third down, though. Thank you. But we punt again. Yeah, I think Tennessee just has Bama's number. Unfortunate. And they convert the third down there also. Man, good sack from Rasmussen, but they make the field goal anyway. Well, we have an entire quarter to score 21 unscored points. And we start off with a 25-yard touchdown pass. Thank you. Wow. Yeah, they're killing us. They are smoking us on defense. They get a field goal, 16. That really hurts. There we go. Triple option. Unsuccessful, it must be said. Sacked again. That makes 5 sacks Tennessee's gotten on us. They convert 3rd and 7. Ooh, clutch fumble forced by Reed Archer, recovered by Guadalupe Hale, who I insulted at the beginning of the season. And then a touchdown to Mike. Okay. I am going to go for 2 because there is no reason to kick an extra point right here. We get it. 8-point game. 3rd and 2, I'm blitzing. I'm sending the house. They don't get it. Sean Ballard takes him down. Okay. Up tempo is going back on. Here we go. Good run call. Bad time to get sacked. Incomplete. I might as well go for it on 4th and 7. Because my only hope with punting it would be that we burn them at like the 2-yard line and just blitz. But similarly, if it's a touchback, then it's a net of like 17 yards. But 4th and 7 is long. I'm going to punt. Yeah, see, got him at the 15. All right. That will probably do it unless we can stop them immediately, which we do not. Yeah, negative field goal anyway. All right. That is game. We're going to see if we can put some points on the board for pride here. Doesn't look like it as we get sacked once again. All the passes are nerfed, except the quick slants. No dice. All right. Well, we take our first loss of the season to number 14, Tennessee. This is something I indicated at the start. I mean, they went 8 of 15 on third down. That third down defense is a serious problem. Sawyer Cox, I mean, he had 312 yards, 3 touchdowns, but wasn't his best game. Running the ball was inconsistent. Just couldn't get our offense going, and they had that big Hail Mary, which that really decided the game. So credit to Tennessee. They give us our first loss. Man. Sour note to end on. I might run one more. Oh, boy. I think I will. I don't want to end on a loss. I'll do one more game. And Jackson Conrad is going to be out for this game. Hey, A&M is ranked again. Oh, boy. Well, we're still number 1 in the rankings, which that's something. Tennessee moves up to 8. after that loss. But yeah, I mean, I think the injuries on defense also kind of caught up to us there. That hurts. That really hurts. I mean, listen, I didn't expect to go undefeated, but that hurts. Oi! Notre Dame's visit with Francisco, 1,300 points. As we are now 1,400 points behind on Francisco. That also means I'd like for him to commit before signing day so that if we don't get him, I get my money back before the transfer portal, which would be nice. All right, I'm doing one more game. I don't want to end on a loss. Just hurts my soul, really. All right, number 22, Texas A&M. They lost to Tennessee. No shame in that. Florida and Mizzou needed overtime to beat Virginia. Barely beat Kentucky, but they just slaughtered Oklahoma. They got a couple injured defenders. Welcome to the club. Their QB is Derek Sellis, who I must be honest. I mean, he isn't great, but 88 arm strength and 86 IQ will get you through a lot. Yeah, there's the fear. Their running game. Baby Blackman, great name, better ball skills. Braden Adair is speedy. Yeah. All right. Their run game is what's going to need to be stopped, I think, and we're going to need to working on our downfield pass. Also, it is raining once again. It must be a very rainy fall. All right. The only reason we're playing this game because we just lost. We have 6 recruits visiting, none of whom are close races. So my hope is after we win, or even after we play, I don't even know if we need to win, that we get all 6 of these recruits. So far A&M has only beat Bama once, and it was 4 years ago in the regular season. I aim to destroy A&M. I'm going to take out my anger on the Tennessee loss on these guys. We will defer to the second half. Tails once again refusing to be flipped. And they convert on 3rd and 10. The woes continue. But not 3rd and 7. And they miss the field goal. Good run there. Thank you, sirs. 23-yard pass to Javier, and then we just dink and dunk our way to the end zone. Aaron Middleton runs it in. Thank you. And an interception, Trevor Lucas. That's also something we didn't do against Tennessee. Didn't force any turnovers. Thomas Chowdhury gets us in the end zone, 14-0 early. And a strip sack from Ernesto Howell. My defense is just annoyed at life right now. Sawyer Cox runs it in off the QB sneak. Did I do that on purpose? No, not at all, but it worked. And they convert to 3rd and 18. I'm never doing cover 4 quarters again. As far as I'm concerned, it's a dead play. If I could remove a play from the playbook, I would remove it. Convert the 3rd and 2. Thank you, lads. And barely a 3rd and 1. Come on, guys. 45-yarder is good. Oh, actually, here, before I think of that, I'm going to make Conrad inactive for this game. And for the heck of it, let's... oh, no, I can't redshirt him because I'm in the middle of the game. Duh. Whoops. I didn't think that one through, but it's fine. So, yeah, no matter how much we're winning by, it's still going to be the same running backs all the way. All right. Good stop on 3rd down. Our run game is just... I mean, yeah, Sawyer is 5 of 16 right now. If we hadn't gotten those turnovers on defense, this would be a very different looking game. Nah, let's try to get into field goal range at least. Never mind. Ooh. Maybe not. There we go. Screw it. 4 verts. And it works. Roberto Chase over the top for the touchdown. Thank you. No. Cover 4 quarters. Go away. I'd rather just do an all-out blitz. All right. Safety blitz. Didn't work. But they made a 49-yard field goal. And Aaron Middleton fumbles the ball. And it's recovered by A&M. But that's the end of the half either way. But that is a turnover on our stat sheet. All right, we're going to move to the run game a little bit. Play action. And David Sheffield with another touchdown. Almost all of his catches are just going to be touchdowns. I love it. Good third down stop. Thank you, defense. 4 verts, send it. Surprised that worked in the end, but hey, we got the conversion. Roberto Chase dropping that pass pains me. All right, backups are now in, and Aaron Middleton rips off a 47-yard run. Elvis de Santiago gets us in the end zone. This is what I call a very annoyed Alabama team. I'm beginning to think the safety blitz is a bad play. Hashtag analysis. Oh, we punt. They convert the third down, but not that one as they turn over on downs. So pass the ball a little bit. And that'll do it. All right. We beat A&M 45-10. That is a much better game to end on from a morale standpoint. Our passing game honestly wasn't great, but we were 10 of 15 on third down. Run game, I think, is strong, which was good. But yes, Cox, barely over 50% completions. Average less than 7 yards a pass. Not the best day, but if you can beat an SEC team while playing not great football, I think you take that and like it. Defensively, only a couple sacks, but 9 tackles for loss. That really helped. Their running game cratered. So, good win for us. Hopefully that means we get some commitments. Maybe. Only 2, but that was. All right, Tony Allison, Jackson Conrad are back. So Conrad, then we'll move to active players and send him back up to the tippy top. Cool. And Allison, I don't need to move. All right, so recruiting, only 2 of those guys committed. Really? All right, well, we get our first commits, 2 corners. Donovan Yoder, who is a more zone specialist, not as quick, but well-balanced. Brandon Sutton, who's your classic good speed, good man coverage guy. What that also means, for those of you keeping track at home, is I am now 7,000 points ahead on these guys, and they still didn't commit. What is the point, I ask you? It seems so silly to me that they wouldn't commit. Like, in my opinion, there should be a numerical cutoff, even if it's like 4,000 or 3,000. There should be a cutoff where if no teams are interested, or the only team interested is, in this case, James Madison is 7,000 behind. I don't care that they have a recruiting visit in week 12. They're not making up 7,000 points. They should commit, in my humble opinion. But that is where I will end today's video. We went 8-1 over our first 9 games. And honestly, if you told me that at the beginning, I would have taken that easily. Lots of blowout wins. I think credit to Missouri for their defense and playing us close. Other than that, the only other close game was the Tennessee loss, which came down to a Hail Mary and unfortunate timing for our offense to have a really bad day. So next video, which will be later this week on Friday, We will open against our former team, number 4 Fresno State, who is currently 9-0. However, they have not scheduled any other ranked opponents. So, the buck falls to me to face my old friends and potentially ruin their undefeated season. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.